is Bea and today I'm going to be doing the bookshelf scavenger hunt tag. I haven't been tagged to do this, but I really wanted to do this, so I'm going to do it anyway. So let's get into it. There are quite a few, not questions, but options to do within this tag. So I'm going to do a couple and I'm going to see how it goes. Okay, so the first question is find an author's name or a book title with letter Z in it. Ooh, got one. And for this one I have chosen Day 4 by Sarah Lotz, and as you can see her name does have a Z in it. So I've chosen this book for the first question. So the second question is find a classic, and for me that's really easy because I have all of my classics in the same place. And obviously, as I'm such a fan, I'm going to choose Pride and Prejudice for this question because you all know my love for Pride and Prejudice, so Pride and Prejudice. So the next question is find a book with a key on it, and I don't have a book per se, but I have a comic book. So where are you? Where's that gone? Ah, there it is. So for this question I am choosing Lock and Key, Welcome to Lovecraft by Joe Hill and Gabrielle Rodriguez. And as you can see, it has a real mean looking key on the front. So the next question is find something on your bookshelf that is not a book. And for me this is really easy because I have loads of bookish things. I have pops, I have flowers, I have loads of different stuff. So for this one, I'm gonna choose my little buddy, I'm gonna choose my little plant for this one. I don't have a name for him, so if you wanna name him, put names in the comments and I'll choose one and I'll tell you guys next week what he's called. So the next question is find a book with a girl on the cover. And for this question I am choosing the book Silver by Rhiannon Held. This is all about werewolves and it's all very exciting. So, and as you can see there's a girl on the cover. So the next question is find the oldest book on your shelf. And for this I'm gonna have to go old school and say Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This was originally my mum's copy and my sister's copy and now it's my copy, so this is by far the oldest book that is on my bookshelves. So the next question is find a book with a boy on the cover, and and for this one I am going to go with City and Bones by Cassandra Clare. So this is the first book in the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, and obviously it has our lovely Jace on the cover. So the next question is find a book with a male protagonist, and for this one I am gonna go with... So for this question I'm going to go with I Am Number 4 by Pittacus Law. Obviously 4 is a male and he is the main character of the most of the I Am Number 4 series, so I'm definitely going to say I Am Number 4 for that question. So the next question is find a book with only words on it. And I don't think I have a book like that. So for this question I'm going to choose The One Memory of Flora Banks by Emily Barr. I know this does have some kind of pattern on it and it's paper, but for the most part it is just words on the cover of this book. So the next question is find a book with illustrations in it. And for this question I know it's not technically a full-size book, but I am going to go with Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by Newt Scamander. This is obviously written by J.K. Rowling, and it is like a companion novella to the Harry Potter series, so I'm definitely going to choose this one because it does have some pretty sweet illustrations on the inside which are really adorable. I was gonna go for one of the illustrated editions of Harry Potter for this question, but I figured that's an illustrated version, it's gonna have illustrations in it, so I wanted to go for something a bit more challenging. So next question is find a book with gold lettering, and And for this question, I'm going to go with Air of Fire by Sarah J Maas. This lettering is more of a copper, but it's basically the only book I own that has any kind of gold/copper coloured writing, so I'm gonna go for this one for this question. So the next question is find a diary, either true or false. So that's like a fake diary or like a revamped version of an original diary, like Anne Frank. So for this question, I am going to choose The Vampire Diaries, specifically The Awakening by L.J. Smith. In case you didn't know, the first kind of couple of chapters are written in diary form, so this is what I am choosing for this question. So next is find a book written by someone with a common name, so like Smith. And for this question, I think I'm gonna go for The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I think Collins is quite a common name, and so is Suzanne, so I'm gonna go for this book for this question. So the next question is find a book that has a close-up on it, and I already know which book I'm going for this one. I already know what book I'm going to use for this question, and that is Bite Me by Shelley Lawrenson. It is a close-up of a man's face mixed with a white tiger, because this is like a were shifter kind of book. So I'm going for this one for that question. So next we have find a book on your shelf that takes place in the earliest time period. And for this, this is hard because I either go with Pride and Prejudice again, or... So for this question, I already used Pride and Prejudice because it is a classic and it is set in an earlier time period. So I'm actually going to have to use a different book for this one than I would have originally wanted. And I'm going to use Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Infernal Devices series, which is like this is kind of like a prequel to the Mortal Instruments books. So I'm going to go for this one because it is set in 1878. So I feel like this goes back far enough that I have nothing else that's set before it, hopefully. So next we have find a hardcover without a jacket, or without a protective cover. So for this one, I am going to have to go with a book that I have recently purchased / received, and that is Language of Thorns by Leah Bardugo. And obviously I got this in my most recent Fairy Loot, so if you haven't watched that, then I will put a link in the description. So yeah, I got this in my recent Fairy Loot, and it did come without a dust jacket because obviously it's so beautiful it doesn't really need one. So this is my book without a dust jacket. So next we have find a teal or turquoise coloured book. And this should be really easy. I am going to go with Opposition by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the last book in the Lux series, and as you can see, it does have a really nice blue teal cover. So yeah, really love this cover. So next we have find a book with stars on it. And for this one, I'm going to have to go with Nevernight because obviously this bird does have some kind of stars on it, and the side has stars on it as well. And obviously his name is Night. It's Never Night, so you know, had to choose this one. So next we have find a non-YA book, and obviously I have a lot of options for this. I am actually going to go with something that I didn't talk about in my last book, and that is Miranda Hart's Is It Just Me? This is her autobiography, and I have read this so many times. I love it, but I didn't mention it in my previous video, so I thought I'd mention it quickly now. So yeah, this is a non-YA book that I do have on my shelves. So next we have find the longest book you own. And I've got to be honest, apart from Sherlock Holmes, I think the biggest and longest book that I have is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is quite a hefty book. I have not read it, so I have no idea if it is as long as I think it is, but this is a very substantial sized book. Next we have find the shortest book I own. And for this question, I'm going to go with The Bad Beginning, the first book in the series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. This is a very tiny book. It has 162 pages in it, which I actually think is quite adorable because I've read books that are like 600 and something pages before, so that is adorable. I feel like I could read that in like 2 hours, so definitely the shortest book I own, or one of the shortest books that I own. So next we have find a book with multiple POVs, and immediately I am bringing out Empire of Storms by Sarah J Maas. This is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series, and this has about a trillion different POVs within it, so this is definitely a really good answer for the multiple POVs question. So next we have find a shiny book. And I think this is actually going to be really hard because I own a lot of matte books. And for this question I am going to go with Rush by Eve Silver because the lettering on the front has like a metallic sheen to it, so this definitely goes with the shiny cover or shiny book. And last but not least, the last question is find a book with flowers on the front. And for this question I am going to go with Immortal Beloved by Kate Tiernan. As you can see, it has roses and vines and all of that lovely stuff around the outside of the cover, and a couple on the side as well, so this is definitely fit the criteria of find a book with flowers on the front. So yeah, it's also shiny, that adds something. So that is the bookshelf scavenger hunt tag. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, then hit that like button and subscribe while you're down there so you don't miss any more of my future videos. Next week I should have a fairy loot for you guys, so look forward to opening that one with you guys. So see you next week, bye!